Hello everyone and welcome to the Smashi Business Show. Today is Wednesday, October 22, 2025 and I'm Abdul Majid Awan.
And I'm Richard Fitzgerald. Good morning.
Yeah, and we have some really interesting stories, but we have a lot of events starting today. Reuters Next is starting today. It's the first time that Reuters Next is happening in the MENA region, in the Gulf region. It's supported by the Abu Dhabi government, so it's happening. We have so many big speakers, big names. One of them is Mr. Al-Abbar. He's speaking here today. And then segue into another event that's starting today, Sharjah Investments Forum. He's speaking to Chris Fade tomorrow there. So it's a very busy week. And then yesterday was Hub 71 activation event. They announced 3 deals. There was this one initiate thing where you can go as a startup with just an idea. So they started that program. It's a lot happening.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that Hamad Al-Abbar is speaking in Abu Dhabi at Reuters Next and then to Sharjah, skipping Dubai.
Yeah.
When you mentioned the first time that Reuters Next is happening in the region, I'm not familiar with Reuters Next, but I just understands what it might be.
Yeah.
And lots of media companies do have thought leadership events where they bring people together. The first ever WSJ, Wall Street Journal event is happening in Qatar soon. I think we did a story about the cost of the tickets, but it does show that how these brands merge with entities to foster sort of economic goals. We both, I attended, but we both attended events in Qatar, Web Summit, but I also attended the Bloomberg Economic Forum in Qatar. Reuters Next is a different level of event, and it's obviously hosted in Abu Dhabi the day after, as you said, a Hub 71 did their own event. So people can do partnerships with media brands for events, and they can have nice lineups of speakers, and I just think it's a very collaborative way of hosting events and doing things. Bloomberg are well known for it. They do one in Singapore every year, and other brands do it as well. There's a style brand, like a kind of interior design, current affairs and political brand magazine called Monocle, and I was listening to a podcast about them yesterday. They're sort of based in Paris and London, and they do events for people as well. And I imagine that more and more entities will find partners to curate events in the right way. We know Forbes 30 Under 30. They do big events in the region. They take their speakers to places like Guna in Egypt and things like this. So it's just very interesting to observe it from a business perspective as well. But well done to Reuters Next and putting that event on.
I think the most viewed video on our Instagram channel is the Elon Musk interview with Michelle from Bloomberg. And it's so nice. You're very big on podcasts. They came up with a podcast with her. And they made a whole nice 30-second intro of it. She came on the screen and she's like, I did an interview with Elon Musk and it didn't go nicely. And she talks about it for 25 seconds and she's like, now I'm getting a podcast and we're going to talk about like how I questioned everything with Elon Musk. I'm going to talk like that with everyone. So they brought something out of nothing, literally.
Yeah, there's I follow a media journalist from Bloomberg in the US, and he hosted an event last week, very US-centric event, but it was called Screen Time with Lucas Shaw. And a lot of what they pitch is that they will get sound bites from the media. So when you covered the speakers at North Star and GITEX last week, from what they say on the stage, that does get sound bites in the media. I'll attend the 9th annual FII event in Riyadh in the Ritz-Carlton next week in Saudi, and Jamie Dimon, who's infamous U.S. American banker, our famous U.S. American banker. Why am I saying U.S. American? He always jokes because he's everything he says the media pick up on because he's quite charismatic. And when he's on the forum, when he's on the panel, they do really nicely in Riyadh. When he's talking, he says, "My team told me not to say." My team told me not to say, because no matter what he says, it's kind of ad lib and it gets picked up. So I think there is this sort of understanding that that interview in Qatar. With Elon Musk on a video call. I was in the room and it was a 20-minute schedule. It went on for 45 minutes and everyone in the room was on tenterhooks. It was entertainment and it went viral globally on media. So I think people, we talked last week about Mari, that events, that real world, and that mix of experiences and digital is very much in the business world as well. And for executives and SMEs, I met with Dubai Digital District Fund, Future District Fund this week on their email handles. They have DF squared or something. So it's like the Dubai Future District Fund, DF.
Yeah.
So DF squared. That's it. So they basically are trying to help get more coverage and stories for their startups, and I said maybe post on LinkedIn and Smashi Business will pick it up. But also it's about going to conferences and being, say, media trained, and to have your bylines and to get your statements out there, because it can get picked up. I know, Majid, you're all over this. You're watching the streams, you're looking at the quotes, and just being aware enough to know that there are, say, 2 events in UAE today, and we'll pick some stuff up from it, no doubt.
100% we'll get you all the things that are happening, the important ones. But let's move on to the stories, and the very first story today is very interesting. It's Dubai Airport's CEO, Paul Griffith. He says a potential listing of the world's busiest international airport, would be a major success, likely drawing strong interest from global institutional investors. He told the National that airports are seen as blue chip utilities with attractive valuations and steady profitability.
Yeah, it's fascinating. We were talking about whether Emirates would IPO and the airlines in Saudi and in Abu Dhabi are IPOing, but also what about the airports? So while the decision rests on the Dubai government, Griffiths noted that growing investor appetite for the aviation infrastructure. The sector already fuels 32% of Dubai's economy and supports over 630,000 jobs, fascinating, and projections to reach 816,000 jobs by 2030. Wow.
And we recently saw Fly NASA IPO. It did good. It was oversubscribed, I think, more than 100 times, and then went on the stock market, did good for 2-3 days, but then it fell at the bare minimum level. But it was after like 2 decades that one airline went, and we've been talking about Emirates and Etihad for, I think, now 2 years that they will IPO. Every time they come up and they're like, we're thinking about it, we're delaying it. But this story is more important, I think, because he said it that it would be a success, but still needs government approval. And I think internally they are having talks. That is why he's so confident about it. Otherwise, if there was no talk, he would never tell it.
Yeah, you have to look at, when the sort of subsidiaries of the RTA went public, that's obviously transport. And when we saw Parkin and Salik and was there one more? Dubai Taxi.
Dubai Taxi.
That's 3 subsidiaries of what we thought was one entity, and they've all done well. So under Dubai Airports, you obviously have airlines. Indirectly linked, you have Danata, you have Dubai Airports, and also Dubai Duty Free, which is massively profitable as well, right? And you wonder, what would be spun out? Can they all be spun out? But we are seeing rise of the capital markets in DFM. We are seeing semi-state entities selling off institutional or retail tranches, 5, 10, 15%, and they are being oversubscribed. The IPO appetite is hot here. We talked about, we can talk about sort of private equity and VC world's been down a bit, but the retail investment and the capital markets are doing well. So if people are looking for liquidity in the region, if they can't get extra funding rounds from VC at Series B, Series C, then the ones that are already up and running, then going to the public markets is a good option. So it's interesting to see if this, and as you said, the decision does rest elsewhere. I think we'll see more of these companies go public.
And I think, Rich, you would agree with this, that it's the retail investor, institutional investors are always in the capital market. It's just people like you and me, maybe, who go and invest in markets. I do it through Serva. A lot of people do it through other apps. All the apps are coming here too. That means they see someone doing it. Robinhood is getting a license.
When we talk about retail investor, I understand that we go to retail trading and apps, and that is part of it. But the retail investor is the individual in the home, and in the US, they're linked to 401ks. They're linked to things that they don't know as trading. And I think we're going to see more of that. I talked to a financial advisor lately, and they told me that an index tracker of the UAE markets just gets you property and real estate. And I've kind of looked at it and I went, okay, but it's changing. If we see that Presight is now one of the top 10 markups or growth stocks, and that's not finance or real estate. So I think the capital markets, like in the US, they're expanding to other sectors. And in the UAE, this is a bit of a kind of a tenuous link, but in the UAE, we don't have 401k pension linked equities, right? We have gratuity, which sits on companies' balance sheets, which goes to end of service. I think that's going to evolve, and I think there's already some language in DIFC contracts that is changing how that is. If you put the gratuity for every company, for every individual employed in the UAE, if you put that into an index tracker, think of how much more capital is going to go into the markets. You know, we saw what happened when Saudi said that foreign ownership of capital, that was a 10-15% jump on the Tadawul across the board. If the UAE come out with a regulation that says from 1st of January 2027 that all gratuity is going to go into index trackers, think of what will happen there. Imagine we had a Vanguard, a UAE Vanguard for gratuities that was linked to capital markets in the UAE. Think about it, right?
It would be a big thing.
It would be a very big thing. And I think something like that is going to happen because that will unlock a lot of cash. And companies want to, you know, if I tell you, Majid, that your gratuity is working as capital, then not only are you getting your 1 month for every year, but actually there's a chance that that's linked to stocks across the board in UAE markets, that can be double or triple by the time you leave in 35 years' time, inshallah. But
35
you know what I mean?
years.
So anyway, I think, you know, I am obviously tenuous linking here, but like the point is that there are a rise of, you know, there are stages of development on ETFs and trackers and things like that are developing, and that's what happens when capital markets grow.
I have this theory that when Bloomberg and Yahoo, they have their trackers for all the markets. They have a US one, they have a EMEA one. They never have a Gulf market tracker, and I always have to go to individual places to find what was the
maybe
stock.
Smashi should have her own.
I was talking to Saima the other day. I was like, we in our Smashi crypto newsletter, we incorporated the CoinGecko thing, and it's easy, it tracks it, but for Smashi business, I was like, I always have to go and individual. We can't build one. It's just like 5 or 6 major markets. We can build one, and everyone can come and see what was the Gulf market scene today.
I think
perfect, good idea. A new vertical under Smashi, but Amazon has rolled out its first fastest delivery service yet, Amazon Now, across the UAE. That's the second story for today, promising to deliver everyday essentials in under 15 minutes, and in some locations as fast as 6 minutes. The service is powered by a network of micro fulfillment centers. That's what the details were in their press release and all the announcements, and they are trying to reduce delivery distances and easing traffic congestions through those fulfillment centers.
I don't know if they'll ease or add traffic suggestions. This sort of, this sort of 2-hour delivery expectation is so prevalent now across the UAE. I avoided some school traffic today, and I drove past sort of Dubai Marina on Sheikh Zayed to the office. And Dubai Marina Mall is an Emaar building. And they used to advertise noon. And on the corner of the mall and Address Hotels, there's noon minutes. That very evident logo with the sort of yellow noon with the punchy minutes written in red. It's very standouty. And I just think it's such a killer feature. That 15 minutes delivery, you know, and they send you a text to say how long it took. So I'm surprised it took Amazon so long, because everyone can deliver within speed of time here. So
but I think Al-Abbar's thinking of UAE, he's very courageous with it, I think. He thought of noon minutes. Amazon was here. He thought of noon minutes before anyone else because he believes in UAE. Amazon, I think, were waiting for them to fail or pass. And noon passed. But to be honest, it's a very prevalent way of getting groceries now.
Yeah, as we said, there were new apps in quick commerce. And then was it an app or a feature? And the existing e-commerce apps and delivery apps added the feature. So basically 30 categories will be launched. The vice president of Amazon UAE and the founder of Souk.com, Ronaldo Rani Mushawara, says daily orders are growing more than 40% month over month as Prime members double their shopping frequency through the new services. So it's fascinating. You know, imagine if you were to describe the sort of quick commerce delivery ecosystem in the UAE, it's moving so fast, isn't it? Like, to describe it to someone else of what Kareem offers versus what Noon offers versus what Talabat offers, and who's big and who's small and who's moving. You know what's also fascinating? Have you seen all the ads for Keeta? And the two colors that they're using, the yellow color and the green color, it's just very like Noon and Deliveroo in together, you know?
It's just confusing the customer, like, okay, this is the same, I think. I think color theory-wise, it's giving them an idea that we do the same thing.
Yeah.
We don't need to remember our name, you just need to remember that we do the same thing. It's very clever to
And
be
a little
honest.
bit of orange dropped in there.
Yeah, my son is like nearly 6 and he got confused. He knows all the delivery services because he thinks they're robots. And he was like, Noon. I was like, no, this is Kita.
Yeah.
So it's a very nice idea that they have. And they have so many delivery riders. I think if you go on the roads now, you'll see 3 Kita riders and 1 Noon. And I was like flabbergasted by that. I was like, they have so many delivery riders.
Yeah, it's just interesting to see, you know, when that story came out about Noon IPOing at 10 billion, the details, credit to the FT for unearthing this, they said 40,000 employed drivers on bikes. So that's a lot of employees. You know, it is fascinating. But watch this space with all the quick commerce moves.
So, but to be honest, right now, Amazon will have a very tough time.
Could I add something to this? So I love opening the apps now to see what's being marketed and what's being pushed. It's exciting. It's engaging. You know, Noon are doing their second installment of these ice creams.
Yeah.
And,
we remember.
And my wife and I are, like, Hamza and I are jumping on the app to see, like, just for fun, to see can we get the, like, Fade Fit ice cream. We're like, not even if we're eating it, just can we get it before it sells out? Like, it's just fun. And to like surprise someone with a delivery in 15 minutes. And, you know, these drops now, they're happening on the apps, like product categories, you know, like if someone's launching a new thing, you can partner. You know, we talked about Dubai Fix moving from Deliveroo and moving on to Kareem, and now having the chocolate, chief chocolate officer. You know, but it's actually, you know, we talk about, you know, in the nerdy sort of ad tech world, we talk about retail media, but like there's retail marketing. And if you think of, you know, we had the guys on, I mentioned from Newtonic yesterday, and they're thinking about distribution of drinks in the region, but doing retail marketing on these apps, partnerships on these apps, going exclusive with one, not with another, dropping this, and there's so many different things that you have to, like, can you fulfill in the different parts of the city? Can you fill the stock? How many do you order? All these different things.
Yeah, it's very interesting, this whole market. But moving on.
Speaking of which, though, this is linked to performance marketing.
Yeah, UK-based performance marketing agency Alphageek has opened a new office in Dubai, joining a growing number of British firms and entrepreneurs relocating to the UAE. Founded in 2019, Alphageek specializes in AI-driven marketing for e-commerce and D2C brands direct to customers, with Dubai operations led by Art Lindop.
Yeah, I should have a disclosure here. My investment vehicle, Fitzy Fund, has taken a stake in Alphageek, and Art is a second cousin of mine, originally from Irish heritage. He's from Derby in the UK, and what he told me was that a successful exit in the media world here was Create Media. They sold to a global advertising. And Tom Otten, the founder of Create Media, is also from Derby in the UK. He's been in the region nearly 15 years, and Art's only been here 3 weeks. But it shows that the marketing talents of Derby, not London, is coming to Dubai. And so the move reflects booming demand in the region's 7 billion digital ad market, according to IAB MENA. Just 6.9 billion in 2024, and we're seeing 20-30% growth year over year. Analysts say that also mirrors a wider wealth exodus from Britain, driven by tax reforms and end of the non-dom status.
Yeah. What is your view on it? Dubai is becoming a hub. People will come. Will it stabilize the market, or will everything boom because they're bringing so much money? They're not coming alone. I know Art. I don't know how much money or what he's.
It's fascinating. I think I moved here many years ago, and there was never talk of opening up agencies in Dubai back then. Back then, the agency networks had our co-partners and founders who owned the majority. So if you were a Mindshare or a WPP or a Publicis or an IMG or IPG at MCN, if you were a networked agency, you were based here. Standalone entry markets wasn't a thing. Back then, when I was at We Are Social, they had partners in Europe and France and Australia. It took them a long time to think of the Middle East. And the attractive place to launch would be the US. But even in Ireland, it was like, open an agency in the UK first. But I guess it's easier. Maybe Europe isn't doing as well, but there's different languages. And there is that sort of UK sort of image now of influencers, creators, of digital native vertical brands launching here and vice versa. So it does seem to, many people have done it, so you seem to say, well, why not? And credit to how Alphageek have done it. They, you know, Art had an internship with us 6-7 years ago, and he always talked about moving here. He has 2 co-founders in the UK, so how he's done it is one of the founders has moved, and the rest are managing that UK business. A lot of their clients are in London, so they're having 2 shops, 2 agencies, and they'll build up their client base here. And they've already, alhamdulillah, they've already started with 1 client in October. So they're building up like that. But I think they'll do well. I think they'll do well in their approach as a co-founder of 3 moving, and then also. The services world works, you know, and this performance marketing specialty. We saw Chain Reaction sell to Publicis. Yeah. We talked about that, you know, and they are a performance agency. So I do think that as skills develop, like retail media, Alphageek focused a lot on Meta and on Google Suite, but also Klaviyo. Klaviyo is a software that helps performance marketers. Some of the most known performance brands in Dubai use Klaviyo, like Rite Supplements, RITE, and I think Humantra used Klaviyo as well to manage the WhatsApp messaging and the retargeting on email. It's a very good piece of software. So a lot of content creators are building up products, and then they're using software and performance agencies like Alphageek to scale further. So we're seeing a lot of this, and it's just evolving the marketing world.
And yesterday, the guest said on Love in Dubai, one of them said that I'm just 1 bill away from moving here. Yeah. And there was a very interesting story about
1 tax bill. Yeah,
1 tax bill away from moving here, and one story was about the car stolen or something. Yeah. But it shows that this market is the best. Pavel Durov tweeted that I am ready to buy the stolen jewels from Louvre, the French, and I will give it back to them, not the Louvre in France, but in Abu Dhabi, because I know.
Tweet that?
Yeah, he tweeted that. We'll do a story on it. But interestingly, the
whole those jewels, wow.
Yeah, the whole world is talking about the safety of this place now, and it's not just safety in terms of, I think.
I love that story. That's really fascinating, because there was jokes about how they used a ladder to climb in and how France doesn't have protection. But the link of the Louvre Abu Dhabi, I don't think you're getting into Louvre Abu Dhabi with a ladder to take.
It's impossible. You have to park the car and walk towards the entrance. You can't ladder it yourself. But yeah, that's a wrap for today. Thank you for tuning into the Smashi Business Show. Make sure to follow us across all social media channels at Smashi Business, and stay ahead with our daily newsletter. You'll find the subscription link in the description. And we also have an additional Smashi Crypto newsletter. Goes out every Monday and Friday. We're trying to make it as valuable, as value-filled as possible. So yeah.
Yeah, so this has been a Smashi Business Show, a Smashi Business production, part of the Gus Media Podcast Network. Thank you for being a listener. Send us a message and we'll shout your name out next time.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.